And welcome to our Persona 5 review here on GamingStooges. We're only 1 million years late, but you know what? We're here. So, everyone's here today. You know, Jack,
even Justin, surprisingly.
Cloud, and Justin.
Oh.
I was waiting for Jack to say something, but...
You say that, but Justin was actually the first of the four of us that beat this game, so he was actually done with this before any of us were. He was ahead of the curve.
Oh.
He was. So, let's get into it. Persona 5 is a Persona game. Ooh, shiny. What does that mean? Well, Persona is a series of games where, depending on when you start the Persona series, you are a high schooler beating up other things. Like, by things, I mean demons from some other region of the world.
Hey,
by other region of the world,
sometimes people.
And sometimes people.
Regardless, we are beating them up for lunch money, presumably.
Well, you do get Zenny when you beat them up. So there's that. Persona is also a subset or sub-series of the SMT games. So that means, you know, shit goes down. That's a trademark of the SMT games. And then I guess we can just start at... I don't know. What do you guys want to start? Characters, story, battle system?
Probably start with the story without giving...
Story?
Just a basic outline and then move to the characters.
Okay, so in the story, you die. The end. Actually,
that happens later somewhere.
I don't think we should... I think we should give a little bit of a spoiler warning. Not necessarily saying that we'll give away the entire story, but if something slips out, you know, don't blame us.
Just put like a timestamp or something.
If you're interested at all in playing the game, play the game first.
Or listen to us talk about it, and cover your ears while you listen to us talk about it.
But then how will they know when we say that it's good?
I don't know.
It's good.
Skip to the last 5 seconds of the review.
Alrighty, so the story. Jack, take it away.
In the story of this game, which if you've played if you've played Persona 4, is a pretty big departure from the generally happy attitude that the game has. You are a high schooler. Well, actually,
a casino.
Technically, yeah, the game starts off with you robbing a casino. You get arrested, and then you're taken into questioning. And the game basically retells the events of what happened to cause the casino robbing, by, you know, telling the events of what happened. It starts off with you as a normal high school student who is sent to another high school under the custody of a coffee shop owner because you, as a normal good Samaritan, saw that a woman was being sexually assaulted and possibly raped in the future by this drunk Howie Mandel lookalike. So you're just like, hey.
True story.
It's true story. It happened. I was there.
I'm sorry. The reason why I started laughing is I thought the entirety of Persona 5 could be described by the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Now this is a story all about how my life got flipped, turned upside down, and I'd like to take a minute, just sit right there, tell you how we...
How I got arrested and I'm taken into questioning.
Yes.
Anyway, so yeah, you like push this guy and he goes, "Damn brat, I'll sue!" And then you get arrested because this guy is like, you know, all powerful or something. He has money, basically.
He has connections.
And they're basically like, all right, you know, you're being arrested for something incredibly bullshit, and everyone is very not nice to you. Except
you pushed him down.
You pushed him down. I mean, you know, never mind the fact that he was probably going to rape this woman, but yeah, you pushed him. You're on probation. Anyway, yeah, the story
So
goes from
everyone's
there.
doing
You
you.
meet up with one vulgar boy,
One vulgar boy.
and one mascot character,
Oh.
and one blonde-haired Pokemon gym leader to
Flannery.
Flannery
Super hot.
to take on the fucking
Carmine Electra.
volleyball. Well, it starts off with just the volleyball coach of the high school, but it goes on from there. And basically, the story's you and this ragtag bunch of misfits taking down people whose hearts you change by going into their subconscious and basically forcing them to have a change of heart and admitting their crimes. And that's pretty much the whole story.
Until you die.
Until you die. Yeah, that's about it. That's the story.
Or a year passes and, everyone's happy that you're leaving.
Well, they're not happy that
Because-
you're leaving.
No, they're happy that you're leaving because no one likes you. Gosh. No spoilers.
All right.
So sad.
So, characters.
Characters. There's the main character,
All right.
Akira Toriyama.
What?
Okay. To explain to Justin, the reason why he said Akira Toriyama is there's the manga calls him Akira, I think it's Kurusu, and then Landon was like Toriyama. I was like, fuck it, I'll call him Akira Toriyama. And that's what I decided to name him on my new Game Plus. But anyway, so there's the main character who you get to name. They have a couple of different names across different parts of the continuity. I think it's like Rem or something like that with Kamamiya or whatever in the upcoming anime. Quote unquote, it's on upcoming. I don't know when this is going up. There's also the other characters that Jack mentioned. There's the Howie there's the Howie Mandel lookalike, the volleyball coach. There's also a bunch of other NPCs. I'm not really going to get into the playable characters because I don't know whether or not I feel like mentioning all of them or not. But a lot of the NPCs, most of them are actually pretty important because you'll be able to actually talk to them and spend time with them through Confidants and like spending, which like there's a gameplay thing. We'll talk about that when we get to the gameplay section. But there's a classmate because you have to always have that like one classmate who's just like friends with you but doesn't actually like actively like participate in your shit. That's Mishima. There's the teacher, Kawakami. There's the principal, who I don't remember what his name was.
Mr. Neck.
Mr. Kobayakawa.
Neck.
That's his name.
Oh,
His name is
Sure.
Mr. Neck.
He doesn't.
Yeah, with no K.
He doesn't have.
Only C.
He doesn't have one though.
Mr. Net.
Super Kami Guru.
Super Kami Guru is not a character in this game, but we can make Mr. Neck Super Kami Guru if you feel like. And then there's a bunch of other NPCs that you'll get to later on who are tied to different ones. There's like a fortune teller. There's there's actually someone who's related to the coffee shop owner. There's one of your classmates is actually not classmates, schoolmates is actually related to the person who's questioning you. I'm missing like half a dozen characters. There's a girl who goes to a church that you can end up spending time with. There's like mad other ones that I don't even remember.
There's a little boy that you can spend time with.
That's
Yes,
illegal.
that way. At an arcade.
An arcade. Not in the way you might have been thinking, you fucking dark-minded individual.
Get smoked.
Get smoked.
But we'll explain more about those characters that you'll be able to spend time with, since most of them are tied to a gameplay mechanic. When we get to the gameplay, which we might as well start talking about, who wants to talk about the gameplay? Because there's two very massive aspects to the gameplay.
I'll do it. Okay, so
I'll take palaces.
palaces. Okay, so during the daytime, well, technically you go to the palaces during the daytime as well, but
In the
real world, you have these things called confidants, which are basically your relationships with specific characters that you meet throughout your journey, the ones that Cloud mentioned. When you talk with them enough or hang out with them enough, which takes either an afternoon or an evening, your rank will go up with them, and it maxes out at 10. And where was I going with this? It's not always going to rank up each time you hang out with them, but sometimes it will. And that gets into something important that will land in what?
-1 for changing social link to Confidant.
Oh god, we're keeping a tally of this.
Okay, are we starting at 5?
Yeah.
Jack didn't mention this, but every single portion of the game is actually broken up into an in-game day, quote unquote. So certain events will take place during the day. Certain events may actually happen in the evening. There's quite a few story events that are scripted to happen on specific days, and then during days where where you have freedom to do what you want, you have option to do things in the real world or spend time inside of what is called the metaverse, which is the subconscious that Jack mentioned earlier. But Landon, you can explain more in depth about palaces and shit like that.
I was going. Hold on.
Sure.
We're not done with real life
shit. We're not done with real world though.
We're not done with real world shit. You also have social stats. There's knowledge, guts, kindness, charm, and proficiency. Doing regular things that are not hanging out with people will gradually increase those stats, and those stats sometimes help you get further into a particular confidant, because sometimes you can be locked out of progressing a confidant without having a certain social stat. For example, in order to start the confidant with On, you need to have a rank 2 kindness.
Also, you can, for certain NPCs, you can earn social stats from them.
Yes.
When you hang out with Sojiro, you gain kindness.
Yeah. Okay, now you can talk about palaces and how social links are involved in that way.
So in the metaverse, there's a really cool area where you're inside someone's mind space.
What?
There's two different areas that you can explore. There's a palace, which is the person's cognition of the world and how they view it, which can be corrupted for the most part. Or there's Mementos, which is the public's metaverse, basically. It's their palace. In palaces, you go around beating up demons and shit, and then you force them into a mask, and you fucking punch them, and then they become yours. And then you go use them to beat up other demons, and go around doing that stuff. Plays out, like a typical SMT game where you've got all your fucking fire, wind, electricity, fucking holy magic, curse skills, mind abilities, and gun.
Gun!
all the normal elements you would see in the real world. And people are weak
Mention the hold-up mechanic.
resistant to. Yeah. So it's basically you're playing you're playing Pokemon or whatever, where people have weaknesses and you want the person who has strength to that. Then you've got your typical RPG elements where some people excel in certain elements. So if someone's really good at magic, so you're going to use magic skills. So just use fireballs on them. Or you're really good at punching or shooting guns, so you're going to punch people. And then, so your confidants, you build relationships with your party members, and, as your confidants go on, they have more abilities. They can, automatically hit someone out of a social stat. They can help you with interrogating shadows. They can die for you, which is a thing. They will do that every once in a while. The people that are not your party members that you decide to bone or whatever, also will help you in, the metaverse. You got really cool skills like swapping your party members when you have more than 4, or you got really lame skills like degrading the fucking alert bar. Everyone has their flaws. Reporter son.
That's why she's useless.
So yeah, everyone's happy. Also, those the persona, quote unquote, shadows, quote unquote, demons, quote unquote. It's really cool? Cutting off their heads and making a new one. You can fuse things. Which is, nothing new to the series. But it's a mechanic that you have to get used to, because if you don't use, like persona fusion and like weaknesses and strengths and, customizing your persona to make the best ones, you're going to get shit on real quick. Game's hard in certain aspects. It's easier than your typical SMT game, but it's still, it's a hard boy. All right, someone else go.
Well, there's also the part where the higher up you rank a particular confidant, the more when you fuse 2 personas, you get or 3, sometimes 3. You get another persona that is of, and each persona is linked to a particular what are they called? An arcana in like a deck of tarot cards. Yeah. Like say for example, Ryuji is the chariot of the chariot arcana. So when you fuse 2 personas to make a persona of the chariot arcana, the higher you are ranked with Ryuji, the more experience that fused persona is going to get when you fuse it. So like, let's say that when you fuse it, by default, it's like level 25. If you're like rank 7 or 8 or whatever with Ryuji, it'll get like an extra 3 or 4 levels. So yeah, that's another important thing about Confidants.
Well, is making sure you max them out so you can make stupidly strong personas.
Like Satan.
Like Satan.
Hail Satan.
Yeah.
Hail Satan.
You also have your typical arsenal of RPG inventory. You can actually create certain things that will help you within the palace, which is one of the things that can boost your proficiency in the real world. You have your typical armors and different weapons and accessories. These can be dropped by enemies. These can be given to you by enemies if you do what is called a hold up, which is when you get the weaknesses, and they'll sometimes be like, here, take this, leave me alone. And you can actually buy some of these from like a specific shop, which when you get to a certain point in the game, you can actually start to mod your gun if you want to.
Fuck. That's metal.
Wait. Everyone.
Yee.
+1 for penises.
What?
What?
For
What?
penis monsters.
Oh, okay.
Oh, fucking, what's his name?
Like...
Fucking Mara.
Like Imp. Or Mara.
Yeah.
Imp has a giant-ass fucking penis, just, is a raging-ass boner, just, hanging there.
It's like the size of his whole body.
Yeah, what the fuck, dude? You got a fucking Mara, who's a giant penis monster. Let's just be frank. So, penises. +1.
Oh.
I'm pretty sure Mara is the sole reason why Persona 4 was rated M. Because otherwise it doesn't really have a whole lot of adult themes.
Adult. So...
Alright, so we've covered...
I think that covers gameplay.
Okay, so yeah,
Quote, unquote.
let's move on to the presentation, graphics, sound, all that good stuff.
Ooh.
Okay.
Should we like...
+2 for jazz.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I was gonna say, should we talk about like what we think of the story and whatever?
Sure, if you want to. If
We'll get
you
there.
wanted to.
No, we'll get there.
All right,
Yeah,
whatever.
No, that sounds
Just
fine.
keep going.
We can summarize each of our own feelings near the end.
Fuck. Okay. Gameplay. Graphics. And presentation.
All right, so as I mentioned,
Game looks good.
yeah.
Oh.
As I mentioned earlier, the only difference between the PS3 4 version is just slight downgrade on the PS3 version, but you have anime art style here. You have this very I don't know the descriptive word that I want to use. It's like a comic book style heads-up display interface. It's very well done. It's one of those things where it's like it's kind of hard to see it getting ugly as the years go by. It has it's got that timeless appeal factor to it.
Like Wind Waker.
Yes. I don't know where I was going with this.
Music's good.
Music is good. It's actually somewhat varied too. You have a very peppy jazz-ish main battle theme. You actually have a couple like heavier rock-ish battle themes for like the boss themes. Some of the palace themes can range from like I don't know which ones I want to explain. Anybody else want to explain them?
A lot of the a lot of the time palace themes are pretty low key.
Yeah.
Unless you're like going for
The treasure.
the treasure.
Which has its own theme.
It makes sense story-wise because you're supposed to be
It's
a
more
phantom
urgent.
thief.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're supposed to be a phantom thief, so you're not supposed to, be poking your head around much. You're supposed to be staying in the shadows, so the palace themes themselves are pretty low key.
It seems to get
that mood.
The music actually. Now that I think about it, the music actually gets more up tempo when the person whose palace it is more aware of your presence and your efforts to stop them from whatever they're doing in the real world.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So when you're going for the treasure, stakes are at the highest. They're at a 99%, alert level most of the time, and they're going for your butt. So you got this really good music track playing through while you're beating up shadows and shit, getting to the treasure.
But in terms of like regular palace themes, a lot of them are pretty like because you're sneaky.
It's supposed to be all
You're
stealth.
sneaking around. It's like it's a lot of like down tempo electronic music.
My favorite one is the quote unquote final dungeon theme. But we'll get to that when we talk about the spoilers near the end, where we can just blow our load and just talk about whatever. I think we covered basically everything that we need to without giving away the spoilery stuff. I mean, it's an RPG, so there's not really like an aspect of like controls to really worry about. Controls fine. So I mean, it's an RPG.
I will say this: there have been times when a treasure shadow pops out, and the game decides it wants to, instead of attacking the treasure shadow, it wants to grab the closest cover instead. And I, miss that thing because the game's bouncing me around between cover instead of actually, having the character fucking hit the goddamn shadow. Because they use one button for any action you're gonna do in those.
Are you gonna say -1 for that?
-7.
Oh,
Fuck.
that's a lot.
Well, hey, it pissed me off at Sonic Unleashed, so.
There you go, -7 for that.
No, you know what? I agree with Landon, because there are times where you're like trying to like fucking stick your dick up one of their asses like from behind when you're in cover, or even in front, because it still works as long as you're in cover. But then you decide, no, I'm just going to go to the next piece of cover, and then there was a shadow right fucking there, and now he just caught me.
Yeah, sometimes the cover system's cool and I like it, but then sometimes the action button required for it can be a little finicky. So it requires that -7 because of that.
All right. If we don't really have anything else that are aspects of the game to cover, we could probably get into the spoilery sections of the game and start talking about our personal feelings and stuff like that.
I was gonna say this is a review after all. I mean, it wouldn't be wouldn't be much of a review if we didn't give our opinions.
All right, so
Ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba.
fair warning, this is where we're going to actually start spoiling everything and talking about whatever we want, because, I mean, Justin's going to do that, and I'm sure we would like to express certain things that are going to require that we say we give certain aspects of the game away. But, I mean, we might as well just go around the room as we typically do. Let's start with Jack. Talk about things you liked and didn't like about the game, Jack.
But this was his game of the year.
So
I don't.
So in other words, just forget the second half of what I said,
Oh, okay.
because there's
Things
there's
I liked.
obviously things there obviously isn't anything you disliked.
Things I liked,
Well.
yes. Things I didn't like, no. The end. 10 out of 10. Okay. A lot of my opinions of this game are in the Game of the Year list, I guess. Yeah, no, I mean, like, everything in this game is kind of amazing. The gameplay is really good. Even when, like, actually grinding, the game never really felt like a grind, because, like, I think one of the ways, I mean, aside from everything, in which this game shines is, I think the battle system has an incredible flow to it that not a lot of RPGs have, or not a lot of turn-based RPGs have. Like, everything flows very smoothly. There's very little, if any, time between, like, the attacks of, like, two party members, or like a party member and an enemy, and it just it goes really smoothly. I just repeated myself. I had a good thing going. Yeah, no, that's good. Gameplay's good. I like the stealth mechanic. That's good. Music's good. Music's great. I love the music. Characters are good. Love the characters. I think that in terms of, I mean, obviously I like this the story more, but, like, I think characters, or at the very least the party members, I like the party members of Persona 4 just a little bit more, but mostly because I feel like they're, like, just a little bit more, like, closely knit as, like, friends, and I don't know. I guess just, but that's also because there's, like, a little bit of fluff sections in Persona 4 that add to that sort of thing. But, you know, that's sort of a double-edged sword in that regard. Why am I talking about that game?
I don't know.
Yeah. I like that this game has, like, a lot of, like, I mean, obviously, just aside from being an M-rated game and having a couple of fucks in it, I like that this game has, like, adult themes and tries tries harder to be a little bit darker than previous Persona games. Even, like, pretty much on par, if not more dark than, like, the first two games, or the first 4 games. Because, like, Persona 4, like, I love it, but, like, it's, like, it is, like, the happiest game about mass murder you will ever play.
But Jack,
And not because they...
Hitler.
As funny as that is, that's the thing. It's just funny and not really serious. But yeah, it's like there's a lot of themes in this game about, like, depression and suicide and sexual harassment and rape and really just a lot of dark real world issues that don't get covered a lot in, like, games like this. And I like that it does that. It doesn't really feel forced, and it, like, integrates itself well into the story, because of, like, the whole, you know, changing the hearts of vile people.
Disgusting cretins.
Disgusting cretins.
People who jaywalk.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I like the Confidants are really good too. I like that's another. I like the Confidants in Persona 5 a lot more than in Persona 4 because there are some in Persona 4 that just kind of like they either dragged or they just kind of annoyed me. But yeah, there really isn't like with one exception, there really isn't a Confidant in the game that I really disliked.
Except for the reporter?
Yeah, pretty much. And it wasn't even bad, it was just boring. Yeah, no. Yeah, no, that's it. Things I don't like, really nothing, honestly. I actually don't have any major complaints with the game whatsoever. I'm trying hard to think of something, but I can't. Yeah, no, that's all. I'm done.
All right. Things I like about Persona 5. The music is fantastic. Anybody that knows me well enough knows that I love my music in video games. It's got a good soundtrack. It's immediately extra points for it. And Persona 5 has phenomenal soundtrack. I like the palace themes. I like the battle themes. I like the overworld themes when you're in the real world. They're very nice, relaxing in some cases. I like the battle system a lot. Like Jack said, it's very smooth. It has a nice flow. Not a lot of turn-based RPGs nowadays manage to do that, but it's pretty much as finely tuned as I've seen a turn-based RPG involving multiple characters be able to be since, like Chrono Trigger? Probably Chrono Trigger. I played Chrono Trigger. That was a good game, too. The story, it's not the most epic story, but it's very well written, and the character interactions really drive the narrative. I probably would not give much of a rat's ass about the story itself, if not for the characters driving it. The characters are very well done. I like most of the characters in this game, with the exception of like a couple. I didn't really bother with a couple of the Confidants, and like Jack said, one of them is just pretty boring. But most of the characters, the entire cast, playable cast, I really enjoyed the way that they interact with each other. I don't have the experience of Persona 4 to really compare to, so that's, your mileage may vary there. Story itself, though, I mean, it's fine. It does a decent job. It gets pretty epic at the end, but leading up to that point, it's just, it's a pretty standard RPG story that just has a very well written narrative behind it. Other things I like, graphically speaking, it's a very pretty game, especially for an RPG. I like the anime aesthetic. It's one of those things that's going to hold up very well in the future. I mentioned that because a lot of games will try to be super realistic, but then it just won't work out because later down the line, more powerful hardware comes out, and then it just looks degraded when you go back to visit it.
Dated.
But the style that Persona 5 has is one of those styles that it's going to look really attractive going back to. Other things I liked. Nothing felt particularly useless skill-wise in the game. I felt like most of the skills had some sort of use. I typically don't go through all of my abilities in a game, and I actually felt like I was making use of more of my abilities in Persona 5 than I do in a standard RPG, so thumbs up for that. The other things I liked, I mean, pretty much everything else was just really, really well done. I did mention that in our top 10 games list. Persona 5 was very close to being my game of the year had it not been for one Zelda Breath of the Wild existing and being released at the same year. Things I didn't like. Well, kind of tough to say. There isn't particularly anything I outwardly disliked. There were those couple of Confidants that I did try to start, and I felt like there's certain very small times when if you're not going to end up ranking up a Confidant, it which if you're maximizing their stats, you should be able to do most of the time. But like, if you don't get the chance to, sometimes the hangouts, you get a couple of instances of redundancy, and it's not the most entertaining thing to go through with, like Yusuke, for example, and kind of do like a couple of the same things over the course of trying to get him up to rank 10, 9, 10, whatever, whatever you end up getting that your confidant's up to in your playthrough. Hopefully maxed out, because that's the goal there. But it's not really a thing I disliked. It's just the thing that, you just gotta roll with. It's another thing that frustrated me a little bit, which I'm pretty sure Landon felt the pain of, is because of the fact that it does come with its myriad, typical RPG shenanigans. You'll sometimes have instances where the enemy will actually be able to get a preemptive attack on you if you end up letting them get to you while on the overworld. Because one thing we didn't mention is they actually will confront you on the overworld, so you actually, that's with the stealth mechanic, tied to the stealth mechanic, they can get you, and they can actually attack first. And sometimes they'll surround you, and they'll just swarm you and basically kill you off in one turn of attacks. And Joker / main protagonist / whoever you want to call him, Kira Toriyama, we'll say, he dies, the game's over. It doesn't matter if you have the rest of the team still full health. And that's a thing that I'm pretty...
Minus 10 points.
That's the thing I'm pretty sure is the case for like any Persona game, probably.
SMT don't do that shit.
Well,
yeah, SMT don't do that shit. Get the fuck out of here. Minus 10 points.
Persona, though. But
I know what you said, but I'm saying SMT don't do that shit.
Yeah. But your protagonist is your lifeline, so even though it's a turn-based RPG, you do have the option to, because like you can choose to have the other allies be used just AI controlled, or you control them. I don't know why you would have the AI control them, but yeah, if they can,
you can set it right there.
They can still be alive and you'll still die. So that's a little obnoxious. But there wasn't really anything I like outwardly disliked about the game. Like everything else was pretty good. It's just you do have to roll with the punches of what a typical RPG is going to do at times, where there's so much scripting that you might get a couple of pieces of redundancy, and sometimes the enemy team might end up getting an unfair advantage and just plow through you in one turn. So it's just this is kind of the shit that happens sometimes with the genre. But that and the fact that inside of dungeons, saving is scarce. It is very much explained in story and is very much justified, but at the same time, still very annoying to deal with when you're going through a dungeon and you haven't been able to save in like an hour, and you've made quite a bit of progress in that hour and die, and then you lose an hour progress. But, again, it's just one of those mechanics that can be justified, but still frustrating to have to deal with. But otherwise, it was an incredibly fun experience, and I really think that more RPGs need to take some cues from this game and be more like it if they want to be successful going forward. That's basically all I want to say, though. So, Justin, I believe. Yes, Justin, you're the one that usually goes after me. Tell us things you like and don't like about this game.
See my lady in a bikini. And other things. I too like the characters because I know Jack said that he thought the Persona 4 characters are better, especially since they had better, I guess, world building, you could say, or whatever. But me being a fuck, and basically they, well, at least Ryuji, having kind of like that delinquent kind of attitude, even though I myself was never actually like that, but I'm an asshole now, so whatever. I kind of like bond with that kind of attitude because I'm a dickhead, but I can also be a friend, so I'm like that guy that you're friends with, but he's also an asshole. So that kind of attitude was actually right at home for me. Like, I connected with probably Ryuji the most because of that. I wouldn't say I'm that. Well, actually, no, I am kind of that violent. So never mind. But I do like they said, I like the aesthetic probably the most. The aesthetic is probably like the best part of the whole game for me because of the fact that it's just so fancy. Like, I've never seen such a fancy game before, and I'm completely spoiled on the Phantom Thieves look to the point that when they make another Persona game, I'm gonna be like, but they were so snazzy looking. Because Persona 4 didn't do that. You didn't have like a fancy outfit,
face masks and suits.
Yeah, I mean, because you didn't have a fancy outfit in Persona 4. Someone had a really big glasses fetish when they made that game.
Glasses!
Yeah, that's all the fucking game was. But in Persona 5, because, you're supposed to be sneaky, no one can know who you actually are, even though there's still parts of your appearance that I'd kind of figure out immediately. But the snazzy outfits, those are fucking nice. Like, I can't get over how nice I think the Phantom Thieves actually look. What do you call it? I guess I could say I like the fact of how fucking lucky I am in those negotiations, because I swear to God, I think I screwed up twice in those negotiations, and every other option I selected was like the best possible option you could pick for them. But that's just luck, so I don't know if you can really count that. I also am of the notion that I like the really dark themes because I don't think that the Persona games are bad when they kind of like stray away from that and try to be a little bit more happy about it, but I also do like it when a game actually, gets down and dirty to the points that you kind of need to hear about, because society is full of dickheads, and so there's nothing you can do about it. But if you are in a power to do something about it, the game is pretty much about like making a difference, essentially. And I'm okay with that, because sometimes, you need to show the world how it is. You need to show that people are assholes and the world is full of them. And, you just have to find your own way to deal with that. Music is really nice. Admittedly, there were some songs I like more than others, but I wouldn't say I dislike any of the songs. I'd just say I'd probably rank them differently. There are some palaces where, like, there are sections I like, and there are sections I fucking despise. So, like, I like the palace designs about, I wouldn't say 50% of the time, because that would imply I only like half of every palace. But there are obviously sections I really like, and then there are other sections that can go to hell. Honestly, I feel like I'm not really making good points here. But the point is that the game overall, like, pleased me. I don't think I have any real complaints about the game that aren't just petty nonsense or me being pissed off about something. So, I'd just like to say that I thought the game had good characters, it had a good story. I liked the whole darkness of it all. Like, it wasn't too dark, but it was dark enough to kind of get its message across. And, that was pretty neat. Now to the things I don't like.
Oh boy.
Okay, for one thing, I don't hate her, not as much as maybe I might let on, but I honestly think Haru was a complete fucking waste of time, because there's almost nothing to her, and her dad has one of the most annoying fucking palaces. I hate his palace.
It's really not that bad.
I hate it.
I was gonna say, I feel like you're exaggerating. I mean, it's not the best palace, but it's not like uber annoying.
No,
The only thing I didn't like about it was like the last part where like you have to do like the stupid like locks in like the space thing.
No,
it's like whatever.
Well, like okay, this is just me, but one thing, the palace drags ass. Like, it keeps like basically taunting you with the fact that you might be at the end of the palace, and then it's like, nope, detour, and then you keep going, nope, detour, fuck you. And then you get to the worst fucking section of the game, the fucking space fucking airlock section. I hated the shit out of that section. I can't fucking stand it.
I really didn't think that was that bad. I got through it in like 15 minutes.
Well, you aren't Mr. Well, I wouldn't call it pro strats, but because, otherwise I wouldn't end up in this predicament. But I'm Mr. Speedrun, the RPG, because I always end up beating my games at really low levels because I'm fucking impatient. And, there's only so much you can do when you're low level and you're caught between airlocks at very low health, and the airlock you come out of has an enemy right fucking in front of you.
Speaking of which, what level did you finish the game at?
Oh, what level was I? I'm trying to think. You might have to remind me. What level were you so I can compare?
I was at 73, which is
70?
which is generally considered like about average to lower than average.
I think I was level 68.
Jesus Christ, that's
Yeah,
that's really low. Because like everybody else, I think Jack, Landon, and my friend Julian were all higher level than that. A lot.
No, but that's just something I do. I'm Captain Impatience, so a lot of times when I beat RPGs, I'm actually at a much lower level than I actually should be. So maybe that's why I don't like the space station, because the fact that I was too low to deal with that shit. I still got through it, but it wasn't pleasant.
More things you don't like.
Yeah, because I'll be on that for ages because this is how I am. Is there really anything else I didn't like? Let's see. I'm trying to think here. Actually, now that I think about it, I think it was just Haru, which I disliked just as a simple fact that I think she was wasted, or she at least had wasted potential.
You're just salty because your waifu was a potential candidate for party member, and Haru got in instead of she.
Yes.
To be fair, if they took Haru out, I wouldn't be mad if Hifumi took her place.
Yes, and then there would be no dislikes, because there probably wouldn't be any space station, and I would be happy. No, because then you get a palace for Hifumi, and it would be a giant pineapple.
What? What is it, SpongeBob's house?
Sure, why not? Throw Gary in there for no reason. No, Morgana turns into Gary.
Oh god, fuck it. I'm out. I'm done. That's the review. Nah, it's not. We still have to get to Landon.
Yeah, because I don't think I can really go on because there's not really much I disliked about the game.
That's it?
Yeah.
Alright, Landon.
Justin, you must be tired after today. Let's go to sleep.
God damn it.
Oh, fuck. You know what? No, I take back what I said. That is the one thing I don't like about this game.
I don't want to go to bed.
The massive roadblock to enjoyment in the early game that is...
Oh, yeah, actually, I guess that is something I dislike. I don't like it when I want to do other things, and there's just like a massive fucking, like, a week of nothing, because the game just insists on throwing event after event after event, and there's not a goddamn thing you can do about it.
Yeah.
Alright, back to Landon.
Yes, Justin, you must be tired after today. Let's go to sleep.
I was going to say, as bad as it is, it'll never be as bad as there's an entire week in Persona 4 where Yosuke guilt trips you into working at Junes, and it literally just skips ahead a week.
Junes!
I'm like, fuck you, nerd.
Anyway, Landon, Persona, what do you think?
Yes.
I don't know. I got bored.
Oh,
wait, wrong quote. Landon likes Persona. But does Persona like Landon?
I don't think so.
Probably not. So let's get it off right off the bat. Minus 10 points for Morgana.
Yes.
We'll start there. Fuck you, Morgana. Not even the ending of the game can save you. So you deserve to die in hell. Or whatever. The Velvet Room, probably. He can die in the Velvet Room for all I care.
Chop his head off.
Say minus 10 for Morgana.
Yeah, minus 10 for Morgana. But now Persona 5 is sitting somewhere at like negative 20.
I won't spoil it.
This is a good game, by the way.
But
I mean, Breath of the
this was
Wild
my
had a
number
6.
4 for last year. This was my number 4 for last year. So I'm gonna throw out some bones here. Plus 10 for Flannery and plus 10 for biker gangs.
In your neighborhood.
Get back. For the most part, the characters are good. You know, you got Vulgar Boy, you've got Flannery, you've got biker gangs, you've got Crom, and then there's some other characters that are there. But for like the main team, you got some good characters. Yeah, that's what I have to say about characters. Gave points there. In terms of palaces, some of them are pretty hallway-ish. 6 palace. And boring. But then you have some really fun ones like, I don't know, not number 6. Wait, number 6? I mean number 7. Number 7 is always the game.
Yeah.
Number 6 is alright.
Yeah. 6 is pretty good.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we're at the
6 is
spoiler
good.
part. That 6 is
No!
I warned people spoilers.
No.
Okay, fine. We have gotten this
you
far.
You missed your turn.
We have gotten this.
You missed your turn, idiot.
What?
Alright. Anyway, the game's whatever. I'm about to talk about Goro Akechi real quick. This is my rant about Goro Akechi. He's the biggest missed opportunity in this fucking game. Holy fuck.
Oh.
Alright, so blah blah blah. Dude is the kid prodigy. He's gonna take down the Persona thieves because he's ace detective and whatever. And he ends up joining the team, but just for the fucking 6th palace. And then after that, story events happen. And you go, oh no, who fucking story evented me? And then you're like, oh no. And then it's fucking goddamn Akechi-kun. And he's the biggest missed opportunity because they could have fucking weaved him into the fucking Phantom Thieves a little bit sooner, made him matter a little bit more, and then that way the fucking, you know, the traitorous act he performs matters. As opposed to, oh boy, we got caught. I wonder, it was fucking Akechi. It was fucking Akechi. There's like no one else.
Last minute bullshit.
I can't even you're it's not even a surprise at that point. You're just like, well, whatever. It must be him because he's an idiot or whatever.
He's a fucking bird.
I think he is a fucking bird. He's like the biggest missed opportunity in this game of like so many things that go right. Like the game is very methodical about how it presents everything, and for it to just drop the ball here and, you know, really mess up what could have been a really interesting plot point and storyline, like it's just, you know, you're just like, whatever. It's very much whatever. Because there's a lot of symbolism, as we talked about, and like small details matter. If you really want to dig into people, like and like their like stories and like everything has a meaning.
7 deadly sins.
Just, you know,
Those
shut up. But no, that's true. 7 deadly sins is a big thing of it, and the final boss plays a part in that. Also, plus 5 points for making Satan beat the final boss.
Satan, you use Satan to kill God on Christmas Eve.
I did. I used the powers of ice and sword.
Well, not even that, but like the game gives you Satan.
Yeah. I'm saying I used the powers of ice and sword from Satan. Well, also, yes, the game gives you Satan, but I used Satan.
What was it? Plus 5 points for what?
For Satan.
For Satan.
Yeah.
Hail Satan.
Hail Satan. Yeah, there's some really fun stuff that you can do if you take the time to play the game correct. Or you can play it however Cloud played it. Teehee.
I'm offended.
You should be. That's all I have to say. Is I really just wanted to rant about Gora Catchy and then Hail Satan. So you guys can continue your fucking review or whatever you're doing.
I think we basically covered everything we wanted to.
To be honest,
we're already at the 55-minute mark.
I saw the Goro thing coming a mile away, and before he even revealed that he can go into the Shadow Realm or Metaverse.
The Shadow Realm.
Yeah, it's the Shadow Realm.
No, because
didn't anyone tell you?
They dropped the hint that what was it? He heard Morgana, even though
the pancakes.
Pancakes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the thing is they do this shit like before Morgana even talks to him, where they're going into one of the palaces, and he sees them go into the palace, and he doesn't look surprised at all. Like he's just like, oh, they went into the he doesn't like have an animation of being startled or anything. Like he literally just looks at them, and then the frame just goes or like switches over to them being in the palace. And it's like, if a character was not surprised that happened, like just people just vanish, clearly they know something.
Yeah.
But I'm rambling.
The moral of the day is, kids, if a weird app downloads itself to your phone, just get a new phone.
Yeah, because deleting it won't actually do anything, because the game has shown that apparently weird apps can just reinstall themselves on their phone at will.
Sure, that's just malware.
It probably
yes.
is. Hail malware.
It's actually like Scene's Quest. Keeps downloading itself.
plus 5 for Lexine's Quest on your app phone.
I mean, you could put Lexine's Quest on phones now.
Oh god.
Technically. Jack, is there anything else you wanted to mention last second that you might have missed?
I want to, but Morgana's forcing me to go to sleep.
I'm taking that cat and kicking it out the window.
It's almost scary how good I am.
Fuck you, cat. I have a teacher to give me back rubs.
No,
it's almost scary how good I am.
Fuck you, Morgana. I own 3 dogs.
It's almost scary how good I am.
What's more annoying, him saying that or Super Saiyan Blue Goku saying it isn't over yet?
No, that's at least funny.
They're both funny.
Yeah, but Goku is Goku.
Oh,
Goku gets away with shit.
Damn brat! I'll sue.
All right. If there's
now that we've divulged into just quoting the game,
pretty sure that should just about do it. Then, clearly, if you're listening to this review, you have hopefully already played Persona 5, and if you haven't, please tell me you skipped through our personal opinions section, because we spoiled some. Not too much until we get to certain things, but hopefully you didn't get spoiled too hard.
What's my
score? What did you think about the game? Yeah, Jack.
No.
What is Landon's score?
I have to wrap this up. So, Jack, what is my score?
Are there any more pluses or minuses you have to give it?
Let's see. What
is the most recent one?
Remind me what I've done.
I think. Yeah, +5 for Satan.
I'm not going to spoil the points.
Yeah, you can't ask him what the
No, don't spoil the points. I just want to know the bullet points that I've covered.
Okay.
Changing social link to confidant. Penises.
That's terrible. That's great.
Jazz.
That's great.
Attacking and covering is on the same button.
That's awful.
That's terrible.
Main character death equals game over.
That's god awful.
Morgana.
Terrible thing. I don't know why it's
Flannery.
Amazing.
There's biker gangs in your neighborhood.
Even more amazing.
And Satan.
Amazing. So let's give +1 to Crom.
What?
Let's give +1 for my gun dealer and my drug dealer.
Are you lumping them both together, or is that one each?
That's one point for like them together.
Okay.
Let's give -1 for watching people. Because that's all Yusuke wants to do. Fucking just watch people. Fucking creep. +2 for the fucking Jesus pose in the church. And then +1 for get smoked. Alright, what am I at?
We are, if I counted this right, hold on a second. Yes. Persona 5 gets a 9.
How does it get a 9 when your game of the year had a 6? This makes
Shut
no
up.
sense.
Shut up.
Alright.
Shut up, Cloud.
Wait, what?
Persona 5 is obviously a
Alright.
god tier game. It managed to get a 9. Somehow, some way, you should just go play it. If that means you have to go steal a PlayStation 4, the same way
Or 3.
this game stole Jack's heart, you know what? Do it. That's it for the review. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment below. Hit that notification bell button. Get me my fucking English report. Chad.
Fuck Chad from English.